Hi, this is section 4.1, notes for linear algebra. We want to look at vector spaces, and with vector spaces, we know that the basic things that we can do with vectors are to add and then also have a scalar multiple of those, and those are what we're mainly dealing with, so addition and multiplication. Now, when we talk about a vector space, what we're trying to do is see if these addition and scalar multiplication rules hold true and are closed under the set that we do have. That means that if I add two vectors from a certain space, then that addition is going to result in a vector that's in that same space. If it's not, then it's not a vector space. And that's kind of the basics of what we're doing. So if it doesn't satisfy a lot of our conditions, then it's not a vector space. And I shouldn't say that, a lot of them. If it doesn't satisfy one of these that we have here, 1 through 10, then it would not be a vector space. The ones that we're going to concentrate on are 1 and 6. So you can read through all of these, and they should be fairly self-evident. But to have a vector space, all of these things, all 10 of these have to be true. So number 1, the sum of u and v, denoted by u plus v, is in v. So if I add two vectors, it stays in whatever space I'm listing that I'm giving you. And so you're going to test these vector spaces out to see if we stay inside. If not, one counterexample, boom, it's out. And then the other one is going to be a scalar multiple. If we multiply by a scalar, where c is any real number, and do we stay in v then? And we did some examples like this before, and so that's kind of the stream that we're going on. Once again, we should test all 10, but the main ones we're going to do are 1 and 6. So let's show some of these properties. For instance, we can show number 2, which is the commutative property. If I look at this picture down here, I can take u plus v, and what's my resultant? Well, I'm going to get u plus v. Well, what if I do it the other way around? What if I go v and I go plus u? What do I get? Well, I get this v plus u. So what's true is that u plus v turns out to be the same as v plus u. They're both the same. Just bring this one down and then they're on top of each other. So that just exhibited this property. This one here is the associative property, and so we have u plus v plus w is the same thing as u plus v plus w. See if you can kind of work that out in your head, but I'll also show it. U plus v, I'll do that first, and then I go plus w. What do I end up with? I end up with this one right here. Now what if I instead did the v plus w first? So I'm going to do v plus w, and then I'm going to take u and add it to that. So u plus the v plus w, which I had right here, is going to end up with this vector right here. So in other words, whichever way you do it, doesn't matter. So that holds true. Which property was that above? Well, that's number 3. So we can keep on doing a lot of these things. So definition, a subspace of a vector space V is the subset H of V that has 3 properties. The 0 vector, oh, this is a big one. 0 vector is in there. And then we're also closed under addition, which means that we stay inside whatever subspace we do have. And then we're also closed under multiplication by scalars. So whatever we do to u in H, multiplying by some real scalar, has to also stay in H. So some other things here. Properties A, B, and C guarantee that a subspace H of V is itself a vector space under the vector space operations already defined in V. So kind of what this means is that we might say vector space, we might say subspace interchangeably. Subspace is a vector space. Then every subspace is a vector space, so I already said that. And then conversely, every vector space is a subspace. And then of itself, possibly of other larger spaces. So we, all 3 of these things kind of say that we interchange the words subspace and space with each other, vector space. Good or bad, but that's what we do. Or at least that's what I'm going to do. So example 1, what we want to do is see if our vector space V, possibly vector space V, is a vector space in the end. So it has to hold true. So it has to be closed under addition and then closed under scalar multiplication as well. So if I take this set of coordinates x, y such that x is less than or equal to 0 and y is less than or equal to 0, we're in the third quadrant here. So if I take any vector that's going this way, and I add them together, I think I'm going to be okay. So if u and v are in this space V, is u plus v in that space? If I have two vectors that are negative values on both here, negative 3, 4, and I'm going to add to negative 2, negative 1, something like this is going to give me negative 5, negative 5. Does that still satisfy this? Oh, yes, it does. And so we're going to go check. We might be on our way to say that this is some sort of subspace. Now, find a specific u and v and specific scalar c such that cu is not in v. So what happens then? So what if I let c equal to negative 1? And if I take some u being negative 3, negative 4, what happens when I do c times u? Well, that's going to be equal to 3, 4. So when I do this, am I still in this vector space V? I shouldn't say vector space, possible vector space V. The answer is no. And so that shows us that this V that we're looking at up here is not going to be a subspace, not going to be a vector space for what we're dealing with, because it is not closed under the scalar multiplication. So since it's not closed under scalar multiplication, V is not a vector space or a vector subspace. So let's go to example number 2. With example number 2, it talks about P sub n. Well, this is all polynomials. That's what it's talking about. And so what we want to look at is polynomials of this form. So this is a specific form. I want to see if this is going to form a subspace of all polynomials. And so when I look at this, what I need to do is test 3 things. Number 1, we have to know, is the 0 vector in there? And so when I take P of 0, this means that if I plug in 0, I got to get out 0. And of course, that's true. Okay, so we do have the 0 vector. Then we want to do the next step, which would be under addition. So if I take u plus v, and let's make up u and v, well, a1 and that's a 2 there, a2. What if I do u plus v? If I add these two, this would a1 t cubed plus a2 t cubed. Well, what we want to know is that still of this same form? Well, if we write this out, u plus v is equal to a1 plus a2. Just group that together, t cubed. And voila, we still are of this form, so we're okay. Now let's try a scalar. And remember, c is some real number, so let's multiply that in c. I'm not 100% sure about my vector notation, etc., when I'm dealing with polynomial, but we'll run with it. So if I take some c and multiply it by u, am I still in the same space? Well, if c is a real number, it should work out. So if I go c times a times t cubed, this is just going to be c times a t cubed. A is in the set of reals. This, real times real, is going to be in R as well. So therefore, check. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that this polynomial of this form is going to be a subspace of the set of all polynomials. All right, let's try B, polynomials of this form. And if one of these fails, then we're done. We're saying that this is not a subspace of the set of all polynomials. So let's do the 0 vector. So with the 0 vector, if I go P of 0, we're going to get out 2. And that doesn't work, so we're done. We don't have the 0 vector in here. Now the question is if I plug something in for t, can I still get out a 0? Well, the answer is yes, but not always, because of the values of a and c, whatever they might be. So we just plug in the 0 vector and see if we get out a 0 vector. Let's try addition. If I go u plus v, in this case, I'm going to end up with, oh, I'm not going to write out the u plus v thing, what it is, but if I did a1 plus a2 t cubed, and it's similar to what I did up here, and then I'm going to end up with c1 plus c2 t squared plus, what happens is that u and v, if I add them together, what is this last value? Well, if I take a 2 plus 2, give them, I got a u, I got a v, 2 plus, oh, that's 4. Oh, is this of the same form? Well, the answer would be no. And that doesn't work. So that's another test to show that this does fail. And if we do a scalar, scalar's not probably going to work either for the same exact reason. This piece and this piece are going to be okay, but if I have c times 2, that's not of this form here. So once again, that one doesn't work either. And really, if we're doing this polynomial business, if we have this constant, the constant's going to be a little bit of a problem for us because it's not going to be able to deal with our rules. Here, we didn't have a constant, and so it worked out okay. Okay, then example number 3. Example number 3 comes from this theorem. If v1, v2, vp are in vector space V, then the span, make sure you see that word span, v1, v2, all the way vp is a subspace of my V. All right? So let's see what happens here. So example 3 says, okay, I got H, be the set of all vectors of this form. Show that H is a subspace of R3. If I can do a linear combination of some vectors that are in R3, then I should be okay. And in fact, I can do that if I take A, and I'm going to multiply that by 1, 0, 1, which I get from these 3 values. And then I'm going to go plus B times 1, 1, negative 1. Oh, this is a linear combination. So with the linear combination, that means that I am going to span this, and so I'm going to be a subspace of V. So then H is a subspace of R3. Okay, last example here. If I do example number 4, let V1, V2, V3, we have those 3 vectors, and W. First of all, is W in the set of vectors V1, V2, V3? What do you think? Well, these look, oh, we could maybe do a linear combination. I don't know. What can we do? We can row reduce. Oh, look at what this question's asking, though. Is W in the set? Is W in the set of these 3 vectors? The answer would be no. Look at that closely and see why we did say no. Now, is W in the subspace spanned by this? Well, we can do row reduction to figure that out, or just find the determinant. So what if I find the determinant of the matrix 1, 2, 3, and negative 2, 1, 0, 4, 2, 1. The determinant does not equal 0, so that tells us that we can find this linear combination, or take a linear combination of these 3 vectors and generate this W right here. I could do row reduction, solve it out, whatever I want to do, but yes, W would be in the subspace spanned by these vectors. So there we have some examples of what we're dealing with subspaces. Make sure you look at this one and make sure you understand that one. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks, and have a great day.